Welcome to another episode of Casting Revealed Secrets, and today we're with CARYN West in New York City.
It's a rare thing now for episodic directors to be in the room. Executive producers have final say anyway in casting, and they don't seem to have time for working with an actor or adjustments, so the executive producer probably, while on set, looks through an iPad and makes choices. I've had that happen for the last 5 or 6 years. Steven Soderbergh is never in the room he was just did the Nick for 2 seasons. My callback was another taping. So that's very common. The big movies, except for the principals, which have already been packaged into the deal, may work with the director as a final collaboration meeting or get together. And even there, you can get cast just from a tape. So the only places that you're not taping are theater auditions and independent film and short film auditions. And even then, there's usually a camera rolling for independent film directors, so they can review what they've just seen.
So at what point are you meeting the director?
On set.
First day on set?
Yeah. Occasionally, independent. I did an independent film called I Do, which was very successful about 3 years ago, and everyone was in the room. It was an independent film. It was wonderful to hear their laughter and enthusiasm, and it was also wonderful that the director, we had a chat about my conception of the character, if we were on the same page, because I had to bring my own clothes, my own makeup, my own ideas, because it's independent budget as well. So making sure I was bringing to the set and ready to do what they needed.
So the callback, again, is going to be another videotaping, and then somebody else is going to review it. So the emphasis really on the actor is you've got to be producing a really good video submission to get to the callback stage.
First of all, it's almost like there's not a callback. The pre-read or the first audition is really a Google search of you, looking at your bio, your reel, and your resume online. And then there's very often just one tape. So there's no such thing as a callback, except I had a callback yesterday for theater. I read for 1 role, they called me back for 2 roles, and happily all the directors in this festival, I ended up reading 4. That was a real callback. But now it's what they see is what they get, and people make decisions very quickly in film and television. So there's no callback. They don't need a callback. They can watch as many tapes or as few tapes as they want.
Besides video submissions, where else is technology changing the whole audition process?
Well, the good thing is, like everything else that's globalized, it's opened up markets so that people are self-taping almost every project in Atlanta or New Orleans. And so I know actors who now have agents in many cities and can self-tape at home. Voiceover people do the same thing. So that technology has made talent who are willing to be local hire, it's a much larger talent pool and very exciting. I have friends in New Orleans who get much more work in major feature films from their self-tapes and working in New Orleans. And Atlanta is a very open market for both coasts.
So we want directors to know that it's no longer just the regional considerations in your area, that you can look at actors on a national scale now.
Or international scale, Star Wars casting. Anyone who can self-tape can be considered. And it's wonderful. It's a plethora of changes that technology, it's like being on Amazon for actors,
That's good.
But it gives many more opportunities for actors, which is very exciting.
Let's talk about actions and verbs. You mentioned a book, The Actor's Thesaurus. And why would a director want to read that book?
First of all, I think you miss an opportunity if you don't ask actors to do it a second time with an adjustment, not to make them wrong, but to see if they're if they're what you see is what you get, or whether they're an actor who's open to giving you different takes. So I think it's wonderful if you'll work with an actor. Very often casting directors are frustrated that an actor leaves the room and they said, I wish they'd done so-and-so. And the casting director says, why didn't you ask them? And they don't have, no one has the strength of mind, I guess, or something to just grab them and pull them back in and ask for that adjustment. So it's perhaps a missed opportunity. Simple verb directions for adjustments. Because directors have to be result-oriented, they have storyboards, they have a vision of what they want. Sometimes they have a fixed idea of how they want it to go, whereas the magic can be in what manifests after all the other circumstances are set up. But an actor can be overwhelmed by a director who's stating an emotional result they want, because you can't really produce emotional results like, could you cry more? Could you laugh a lot louder at that? But what you can do is, can you infect this person with your sadness, which is an action and it has a target? Or can you mock this person? Or can you dismiss that idea sarcastically as possible? So those are, so the more verbs you have, and even as a coach, I found instead of describing a line reading or trying to get a different result, if I just give an actor a really strong, insinuating verb, it doesn't make them self-conscious about how to do it. They just look for a way to do it and target it on the person it's meant for. The book I'm referring to, it's a little bit covered up, is called Actions, the Actor's Thesaurus. And it was compiled by two actresses in an English company called Cheek by Jowl. It's got 50,000 verbs in it. And most of us have about 50 verb actions that are habitual to us. And sometimes actors get locked into, I call it the gutter ball in bowling. They get locked into a few of the same repetitive choices. And I never like an actor to repeat the same action twice, even one sentence to the next sentence. I can also hear it melodically and rhythmically. If you're trying to do something and convince someone, and then the next line you're trying to convince someone, and then the next line you're trying to tell them something about acting. I have just played convince 3 times, as opposed to convince someone, enlighten someone. One of my favorite verbs is to confide your information. And that takes us some of the edge off. So there are a lot of overused moment-to-moment actions, and so this book is like it's synonyms of different verbs. So if you have a weak verb, you can look for a better one. And I use it in coaching all the time. I actually ask actors to think of 2 or 3 verb strategies that are in their arsenal when they actually do it. Let go of it after the homework, of course. And I think for this same thing, if you can give a very simple verb action to a director, to an actor as a director, you can set them on fire.
Do you ever have directors come to class, acting class?
I have. I've had them work on episodes that they were going to shoot because they were cinematographers and worried about working with actors. I've had a director work with him privately because it was a little bit of a secret. I think it's a beautiful concession for a director to say, I'm a writer, I don't know how to work with actors, I'm a cinematographer, I don't know how to work with actors, and to get their feet wet. I think it's very important. And it happens frequently.
Okay, as we wrap this up today, any final secrets? It's really clear, directors, you've got to learn to work with verbs if you want to be successful with getting better performances out of actors, and work those verbs in the audition session. Any final secrets, advice for the indie director to ramp it up, be really ready?
2 things. Everyone's frightened when they start a project, and especially first days. The most wonderful television director I worked with came into hair and makeup, went to each actor and said, just saying hi, How are you doing? Any thoughts or concerns before you get on the set? Anything you want to talk about in terms of your character? That was an opening to put any niggling doubts or to get on the same page. It was a wonderful thing to do. For the director to make time to come into the makeup and just let you have a 5-minute conference of, you just going to go with it, or would you, anything you need to talk about? Because there's no time once you're on the set. And the other thing is, if an actor has a big emotional scene to do, I think you have to prioritize in terms of scheduling and asking the actor if they want to shoot their close-up first or last. Because the actor really does have to prepare themselves and make sure they get it in the can. And if they dry out or they get tired, I can't tell you how many times they ask for the big emotional scene as the last shot of the day. When you're done, you're fried. So in terms of scheduling those kinds of things early and asking the actor, because I went to AFI, I've made my shot list for my films. I've actually gone to TV directors and said, so may I ask, in the terms of the shot list, when will I have to sell this? And they look at me like, oh God, when do you want to go? And I've told this to young series regulars on Grey's Anatomy. I said, you have a right to ask about the shot list so you know. And so that's a collaboration that I think is rarely discussed, and you have to learn the hard way. And it would be very nice if you knew it ahead of time.
Wonderful. Anything that a director did for you in an audition session that helped you relax, made you feel good about what you were doing? Anything there that we can help directors help you feel at ease? Because we all know that when you're relaxed and feeling at ease, you're going to do a better job. You're going to do a better audition.
Oh, I've met all kinds of directors. The ones that are preoccupied with some result in their head and aren't really there, those are the ones that are sort of frightening because you don't know what to do for them. But if you're present with the actor, we're not told not to shake hands because we can, get colds before a shoot. But if a director stands up and says hello and shakes your hand, you will calm an actor down. If you just chat with them a little bit, sometimes if you see they're nervous, nerves, even the best of actors have nerves. So give them another shot if nerves were what the first attempt was. And if both of you are human in the room and say, we're just here to play, I think we get to the work sooner instead of it being this proving situation. It takes enormous passion and drive to be a director, and I wish you all the best. Stay with your heart projects, and I can't wait to see what you do.
And you can find CARYN West online at?
Very simple, theauditioncoach.com or CarynWest.com, which is my actor site. But I coach both coasts. I'm FaceTiming now the same way I FaceTime coach actors who are elsewhere. And I love what I do.
Thanks so much. This is Casting Revealed Secrets from New York City.
Thanks, Hester.